Johnakia met Gary and fell in love. He began to help with raising her son, and they got married. Everything in her life was going well until one day, while she was doing laundry, she found a document that changed her life and challenged the future of her marriage. That document stated that Gary was a registered sex offender and the victim was a 10-year-old boy. Gary, why didn't you tell your wife you were a sex offender?
I was afraid of just being judged, understanding that the word sex offender automatically puts you in the mind frame of a pedophile, just a person that you don't want to be around.
Or a rapist, or many different things. Were you hoping that she would never find out?
Honestly, I just didn't know how to tell her. I didn't know. I wanted to, but I just didn't know how to.
But what was the game plan? Here you meet this woman. She falls in love with you. She has a son. You get married,
yes.
Right? And are you thinking, I got away with it? Or at some point, I'm going to have to tell her?
At some point, I'm going to have to tell her.
Did you think, man, after I get married, maybe she'll be more understanding?
I did.
Okay. How did she find out?
She was washing my clothes, and I was out working, and she was washing my clothes, and then she found the papers. She called me hysterical.
Well, what's the papers?
The paper is just me just signing a paper just stating that I came down to the police station and registered.
And how often do you have to do that?
Every 3 months.
Every 3 months?
Yes, sir.
So she finds this paperwork. What does she do?
She immediately calls me and cussed me out and screamed and hollered, told me to leave. I immediately started crying because I didn't want to lose my marriage, especially behind a lie.
She did kick you out for a while?
We kind of separated in there. Yeah, we kind of separated.
In the house?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't leave the house?
No, I didn't leave the house.
Okay. When you were going on the register every 3 months, where did you tell her you were going?
In the morning, I would tell her I had to go do a little job real quick, and then it only took me 30 minutes to do the register, and then I would just come back like an hour and a half later.
How did you become a sex offender?
Me and my ex had broke up, and we left. It was an ugly breakup, and then after that, maybe 2 days later, I get a call from the police comes to my home and tells me about charges with our underage son. And I immediately denied the charges because they were false. And after that, I was arrested going to my parole officer because I was already previously on parole for a whole different crime.
Not a sex crime?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So I was previously on parole, and I was 6 months left on my parole before I was walking it down, and I went to go see my parole officer, and they locked me up from there.
And what happened?
After that, I waited, and I stayed until I got a lawyer, and after that, I accepted an alpha plea because I was already a convicted felon. And
what's an alpha plea?
An alpha plea is a plea of no guilt, but saying that the state might have enough evidence to convict me.
And how long did you have to do?
5 years.
Wait a second. You took a plea for 5 years?
Yeah.
And you didn't do it?
No.
Why didn't you say, this, I'm fighting it?
Where I'm from, fear of, I already was incarcerated. So the lawyer...
Right, so wait a second. You were incarcerated before?
Yes, sir.
For how long?
7 years.
Okay. I gotta imagine prison sucks.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
So you said, I'll do another 5.
No, sir. It was...
Yeah, you did do that.
I did. However, my lawyer, it was under the advice of my lawyer because she didn't
Yeah,
want...
why didn't you say, you do the 5 years?
I told her she was fired, and she told me that I couldn't get my money back.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yes, sir.
Like, if you already did 7, and now you're going back for 5 for something you didn't do, I'd be like, hell no, I'm gonna do everything I can not to go back.
I definitely thought I did until all the way up until the end, until it was time for trial, and my lawyer...
So you're in there for 5 years?
Yes.
For something you didn't do?
Correct.
What's that like? Being in prison for 5 years for something you didn't do?
It was horrible. It was a very horrible experience.
So you get out, where did you meet Johnakia at?
At a gas station.
How do you meet somebody at a gas station?
Well, she actually worked at the nursing home behind the gas station, and I lived in the apartments right next to the gas station. So I was going to the gas station, and she was going on her break. And I seen her, and I spoke to her, and from that point... Never stopped speaking to her.
But now you stay together, right?
Correct.
How's this affected your marriage?
It's affected my marriage in ways because just the dishonesty in her and knowing that,
And this isn't like, yeah, I used to date her.
yes,
This is, yeah, I want the prison. Did she know about the other, the
Yes,
7-year stretch?
yes, she did.
So she knew you were a felon to begin with?
Yes, she knew I was a felon.
But she didn't know about the sex offense?
Correct.
Okay. Does she trust you now?
Yes, I believe she does.
She does?
I believe she does. I don't know. I believe she does. I hope she does.
I mean, does she sleep with one eye open? You know.
I mean, trust is there. I mean, my character, for as how I am with the children, shows that I'm nothing like what they label me as.
How do you get along with the son?
It's my guy.
He's your guy.
It's my guy.
Now, whose idea was it to come here and take this lie detector
Mine.
test? Because you want to prove to her you didn't do this.
Definitely, in the
And
world.
it'll clear up a lot of things.
Yes, it'll start my legal process.
Let's meet your wife, Johnakia.
I have to wait till I get here to hear that you spent 5 years in jail again.
I'm sorry.
That's not cool.
I know
No,
it-
I'm sorry.
I'm so.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to explain to you that I didn't want you to judge me. I already understood that the situation
But
was bad.
it's already out. Like you already judged. At this point, what else is there?
Well, I did.
Like you already judged.
I really
Already
thought
out.
I explained it
I
to
already
you.
knew you spent 7 years in prison. Why you can't tell me about the other 5?
I thought I did, but
Like everything has been. We have been so honest with each other.
How blown was your brain?
I was disgusted. Like my mind was, I couldn't put what I knew about my husband in the same world, in the same, just in that atmosphere of somebody that's violating children.
Right, and you had a son from previous relationship,
And
right?
he's wonderful with
I've
my
been
son.
wonderful with
Right,
the children, the grandchildren, everybody.
I'm not gonna say you're horrible with kids. Like you're better with kids than I am, but that don't, you know.
You also understand that everything that I went through in this situation, losing my mom, losing my dad, everything that I went through in this situation, I walk out every day with a label on me that doesn't fit. Every day. I can't go to, if my daughter gets sick or if our son gets sick, I can't go to the hospital because they're in a child's ward. So I have to sit out. I can't be there to hold my child's hand if they're sick. Like, there's a lot of things that you don't understand about this label. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry for lying to you. It was all out of fear. It was never because I did it. It was fear.
Okay, cool. But what else could you be lying about?
There's nothing
I mean,
else.
it's like
There's
5
nothing.
years.
Nothing.
5 years
Nothing.
for something you didn't do.
Nothing else I lied about.
Okay.
And today you will find out.
I sure hope so because, baby,
But on some
look,
level, you believe him, right? Because you stayed
on
with
some
him after you
level,
found
I
out.
do. Yes, I do believe him because, like I said, he is awesome with my child. He's freaking great.
I mean, you trust him with your child, right?
I do.
Yeah. So on some level, yeah. Because if you didn't believe him, you wouldn't be leaving him alone with your child, would you?
Well, he's not really alone with my
Okay.
child. Like, ever since we've gotten together, he's made it, like, very clear, I'm not a babysitter, you know. You're not just gonna leave your child on me. Like,
Yeah.
if you wanna go out, you get a babysitter and this and that. And I'm cool. I was okay with that because at the same time, I didn't just wanna leave my son.
Yeah. Would you have married him if you knew this before?
I wouldn't have stayed if I knew this at all.
If you knew it all, you would have been out of there. Which
Not the
I think
child
is a normal
molester, no.
reaction. But now what? You're too far down the road with feelings for him?
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, we have a life, and
We
my
built a
son
life
will be
together.
devastated. Like, my child will be
Your son loves him.
broken, yes.
Yeah. What if he fails?
Oh, he got to pack his stuff. He got to go.
He's got to go if he fails.
It's no stand. $5 years, really?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
What if these people just tell you I was in prison?
I would
Stupid.
stick it out with you.
Whatever.
Gary came here and took a lie detector test. Did you touch your ex's then underage son for your own sexual gratification? He answered no. When your ex's son was a minor, did he ever perform oral sex on you? You answered no. The results came back the same to each question, and they came back that Gary told the truth.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you, Steve, so much for this. I really, really needed this. I really did.
You still got some making up to do.
That's okay. That's okay. But I really needed this, Steve.
You know, it is a tightrope, I think, and somebody in this situation has to walk, because if you, like, you proved that you didn't do this, you took the plea because you had been in trouble before, and I can understand how difficult it must be to tell somebody, you know, I have feelings for you. I don't want to tell because I might lose you. Maybe if she falls enough in love with me, she won't leave me after I tell her. But I think you're really playing fire in those situations. I think you have to be upfront and honest. And
I have been.
because you're just kind of building something on the lie. You know what I mean? But I'm glad this is working out for you. And I hope, you know, someday, because let's face it, if you're innocent, you didn't do this, I hope that someday you'll be able to clear your record and you can go on without this.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.